All right, so for this second step in learning Adobe After Effects, we're going to learn a couple of key things, one of them being keyframes. We're also going to learn about the transform properties inside After Effects. Now, we're going to take this shape's name that we had last time, and we're going to animate it to look something like this. All right, so that's it backwards. Here it is forwards again. And I'm just scrubbing the playhead as opposed to letting it play in real time and making you watch it for 1 minute. You get the idea that everything is moving, and that's what I'm going to expect from your project. So what I'm going to do is take the shape's name composition, I'm going to double click it, and I'm going to hit Control C and Control V. Now it gives me the shape's name copy, and it is an exact copy of shape's name, but it's shape's name 2. So I'm going to hit enter next to the text or letters on the keyboard and put animated shapes name lesson. Alright, so what I didn't do last time that I want to do real quick is name these separately. So left down M. This way I'll know what each element is. Right down M. And if I were a good teacher, I would have done this prior to this, but I guess this helps to teach the lesson that you need to make sure you know what layers are the right ones. So, right angle, yeah. All right. Now, I'm going to take these, change their color real quick. Just fuchsia. Let's take these two and change their color to pink. All right. So now I know which letters are which. Not that that was too complex at this point, but it could get crazy later. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and just start with the top T. And to drive the point home so you can just focus on that, I'm going to click on these eyeballs, which makes the layers visible. But I'm just going to focus on the top T. Now, I have my composition at 60 seconds, which yours should be as well. And I am going to hit P. And you see that position comes up. I'm going to hold down Shift and hit R, and you see rotation. And then S for scale and T for our opacity. Now, opacity means whether it's opaque or not. Now, one of the things that you have to understand is if the eyeball's off, it doesn't matter what you're doing. So I could go up here and change these all I wanted, but I wouldn't see them. So I'm going to focus on one at a time right now. What we're going to do is we're going to set keyframes. And keyframes are the thing that makes animation happen. And I do it my way. There are other people who will teach you differently. My way I like best. Basically, I protect myself from messing up the final product. Because at the end of the video, I want it to say my name. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and move my cursor. See, here's the time code. And I want people to see the actual name for 55 seconds. And I could have gone in and done this just by clicking here, typing in 55, and boom. So these little stopwatches refer to time. So when I click on them, notice it puts a little diamond right here. It also puts a little area here that will make diamonds as well. Think of this as a wall. I tell people that in my classroom, that's my kingdom. What happens in my classroom is my business. Same thing with what happens inside the wall in After Effects. So right here is inside the wall in After Effects. Outside of the wall, you're going to mess something up. Why is this important? So if I come here and I rotate this way, what's going to happen is as it plays from here to here, it's going to rotate until it gets to that wall and it goes to right where I want it to be. So that's why I set up the wall to begin with. So back to 0 here. I can do whatever I want inside this area. So what I will do is drag this, put it here, drag it here, drag it here. Doesn't really matter on this one because I don't really have a goal other than to teach you guys keyframes. But as you see, it starts here, comes in, moves around. Don't worry about the dotted line. It's just kind of telling you the path that it's going to take. And then look here, it jumps up. Now, one thing to understand is the space between the keyframes is important because that means how fast it's going to move. Obviously, moving from here to here takes a little longer than it does from here to here. So keep that in mind. So I've got that. Now scale is how big your element is. And what I like to do is come just before the first time to move it and set my scale to 0. I could also do this with opacity, but I'm going to show you scale first. And then I'm just going to randomly scale it up and down and up and down and up and down. So now what you have is it's going to move around and get larger and smaller because I've adjusted the position and scale up and down, up and down. There we go. But at the end of the day, it comes back to here. Now rotation, I typically will just rotate something this way. You could also do this and make it rotate really fast. So there it goes. It's rotating stupid fast, faster than you would ever want it to. But each one of these elements can be moved around. So I could move this keyframe here to make it start rotating later. I could do whatever I want. If I wanted to copy this, I could take all of these, copy them. So select them, Control C, come up here to T down, and if I set right here, I hit Control V, and I turn that on, watch what happens to the T. So now, it's going to, ta-da, be correct. So that's keyframes. It's really quite simple, but you have to remember the first and most important thing you do is set up your wall at the time you want it to stop moving. So go through, do the rest of these, do all of your layers, make something really cool. Take your time. This is something that could be a lot of fun. You can make some really cool stuff with it. But the important thing is that at the end, it still says your name despite moving all over the place in a crazy manner. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and do some more and finish this out so you can kind of see what it looks like and go from there. All right, so here comes the final product, I should say. And there it goes. It's just sheer craziness for no good reason. Voila. Let me turn this down. This, by the way, allows you to RAM preview a little bit more. So let's see if we can get the whole process in there. So that O right there looks kind of odd, but I'll fix that later. But again, you saw it just took a couple of seconds. And I did some bulk stuff to make it quick so you guys didn't have to sit there and just watch me do nothing for a while. Again, pretty simple, moving around. And then as we get closer to the end of the timeline there, my name will show up and will be awesome and beautiful and amazing after it's been animated. And I want you to make it a minute. I know it seems like a lot, but it'll be okay. Because you need to practice with the different transform properties as well as keyframes, because when you get to the kinetic typography project later this week, early next week, it's going to be very important that you understand those couple of things. So there we go, and voila, there's my name. So go make awesome.